everyone. This is Pastor Dick Drummuller here at Crystal Brook Church and the founder and president of Hannah's House Ministries. And we haven't had a testimony for a while on Facebook, so we've got a real exciting testimony, one that is amazing, and God has done a wonderful thing. And I've got with me today Jack Landis, and I think you've been here now altogether a year ago, a year today. So he's been here a year, and in that year, it's just been amazing. And the reason we're doing this is we just want to get word out there about Hannah's House. Actually, right now we have some empty beds in the women's house, and so if there's some women out there that are looking for a place to come that is a positive place, and you need a miracle in your life, you're ready to turn your life around, we got some empty beds, and we don't like empty beds, so we like to fill them up. And so anyway, we want to get the word out that Hannah's House is right here in Independence, Kansas. But Jack, I want to welcome you today, and I want to thank you. And I just want you to go back and take a minute, and I know your story a little bit, and it's an amazing story, and tell about as a childhood and how you ended up. I know almost half of your life you've spent in prison.
18 years.
18 years in prison. And so how kind of lead up to that and tell us a little bit of your story, Jack.
Man, you're going to make me cry.
I know. He used to be a big, tough, strong, mean guy, and now he cries at the drop of a hat. And
boy.
Yeah. But that's a miracle.
Anyways, when I was growing up at the age of 7, I lived with my mom and bounced around with her boyfriends or whatever. And my mom tried, and I hated her for years because she lost us when I was 7. And she did everything she could to get us back, and she got my sisters back, but she didn't get me. And it took me 38 years to realize that it wasn't that she didn't get me. I lost control of myself. Anyways, so for the next 7 years, I spent in juvenile, violent, out of control, bad behavior. I mean, just emotional outbursts, and they just kept feeding me pills. Jack's mad, here's a pill. Jack's glad, here's a pill. Uh-oh, Jack's too hyper, here's another pill. And at the end of 7 years, I was taking 11 pills 4 times a day. And I drooled all over myself, and all that did was cause me to bottle my feelings until I couldn't take it no more, and I'd explode and hurt everything in my past. My grandpa, my mother, it didn't matter, my sisters. If you got my way, I was a destruction. Kind of like a tornado, I guess. Anyways, my grandpa said that's enough. At 14 years old, he got me out. I don't care what he's doing, he's coming home. And he took me off all them pills. Well, it wasn't a good thing. And the state of Kansas, and I'm from Missouri, but I got took away in Kansas custody in Wyandotte County. Made me a drug addict, in my opinion. With all them pills, well, I started going into meth and cocaine and heroin, and I wasn't out a year, and I went to prison for manufacturing methamphetamines, burglary, 32 felonies at 15 years old. That's theft, assault on police officers. I had it all. So I did 9 years. I got out, and I went back to my same old habits, and started getting in trouble, so I moved to Kansas. And I moved to Kingman, Kansas, where I met my ex-wife, and it was just a roller coaster ride of drugs, her on downers and me on speed. And 6 years later, I caught a case in Kansas, and I did 3 years, got out. A year, got out. 14 days later, caught another case, got out. But through all this prison time, I become part of the Aryan Nation in Missouri Department of Corrections, and I'm now marked for life. But all this hate, torment on my arms and my body, and I just hated everybody. And if you didn't believe what I believed, I hated you because of your skin color. I just didn't care. And I stepped on anybody and everybody to get another high, another fix, even though I was selling drugs. And my habit was so bad that selling and making, and I still couldn't support my habit. Then in 2013, I went to prison. I had a child molester for a cellie, and he kept saying, "Man, you know Jesus." I'm like, man, I believe in Jesus, but leave me alone. And I didn't even know who Jesus was. I didn't know what church was. And every day, and I didn't know he was a child molester at the time. But every day, he's like, every time I said something, he's like, man, look, here in the Bible, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And after about 3 weeks, I told him, I said, hey, bro, if you keep dragging my life through that Bible, you're going to scare you and Jesus. And I said, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you why you're here. You don't want to tell me. And I broke it down, the reason I knew why he was there, without seeing no paperwork. And he's like, man, how'd you know that? It's just from years of doing time. So I broke away from there, and I still didn't go to church. And the next time I got arrested, I went to church, and there was 2 black guys preaching, and I really felt something. And I just said, God, if you're real. Let me back up a second. Right before I got arrested that time, I kept loading the needle to get high, and I would argue myself, this ain't me no more. And I would throw it, stick it in the wall, go get it out, put it in the spoon, redo it. So I got arrested at 145 pounds at 6'1", and I went to church and met them 2 guys, and I'm like, man, I just wanted out of the cell. But I prayed that night. I said, man, if you're a real God, you got to reveal yourself to me somewhere in this book. And I had a little brown New Testament Bible. And I just flipped the pages till it stopped, and Psalms 10 came up. And if you read Psalms 10, it's all about the guy hiding in the shadows, killing people and hurting people. And that was me. I've been indicted 7 times for murder, numerous assault charges. I've hurt so many people. Anyways, I went to prison. And my cellmate in RDU was Rick Murray, and he's like, man, you ought to check out Hannah's house. Like, all he did was work out and read the Bible. I laid to bed, made fun of me.
And let me just say this, Rick was in our program, and oftentimes I joke, Jack, about, we call it our involuntary prison ministry, because some of the people that come into Hannah's house, they relapse or they get in trouble again, and then they go to prison. But when they go to prison or go to jail, oftentimes they'll get sober and they'll start preaching and tell people about it. And that's what happened to Rick. I believe God set you up on that one.
Yeah, and then so I leave RDU, and here come Rick. He went to Hutch with me, and then I went to church just to get out of the dorm. It was a movie, and he looked back since. Needless to say, you know, I mean, I've gave my God to life. I'm a member of Crystal Brook, and I do everything I can to bring people out of that darkness, to help. Man, it's been a wonderful experience coming through this program. It's helped me a lot, and it still, to this day, supports me. I mean, I live in one of the pastor's houses, and I've lived at the Hannah's house, and I do all that I can to give back to this, because it's really changed my life. I mean, if you'd have met me 3 years ago, I mean, you just look at me and run.
And I know, going back, you know, when you were getting ready to get out of prison, Jack, I know you had a house, you had a car still out in Kingman, and you were so serious about not going back to your old life. You just said, take my house, take my car, and you didn't have to come to Hannah's. A lot of people, you know, they're in that position, but you chose to come to Hannah's house, and God has just done a miracle. And like you can see the tears running down your face.
I still went back and got my vehicles.
Yeah, and you still don't have those vehicles a year later, and that's the kind of dedication it takes. But now, not only have you been through the program, Jack, but you're a volunteer. You oftentimes get the phone, you carry the phone, you're on call, and you've had to come over multiple times, and you're good at that. Yeah, and you're good at that because you've been through all this, you know, and that's one of the beautiful things about Hannah House. Right now we have, I don't know how many, you know, 5 or 6 that have been through the program that are now actually volunteering, some here, you know, on staff. And I always said that when the people who come through the program start running the program, that's when it's really going to be powerful. And you're one of those, and your wife Sharon's a blessing, and you guys have just been a real blessing.
6 months ago today, I've been in and out of prison all my life, probation, parole. I've never completed. Never. 6 months ago today, my parole officer took my picture and handed me the early completion certificate.
Praise
no
God.
Violations, 100% completion, 6 months early.
That's awesome. So you know, to me, you know, Jack, I consider it an honor to have you here, and you know, you've been nothing but a blessing. You help so many people. You're always there when people need you. I've never, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And so once again, we just wanted to let you hear Jack's story, and you know, and God did it.
Because I went to church to watch a movie, and I got with full plans to go to get high. Yeah. I've come out here and got high on the Most High.
Get high on the Most High. And you know, one thing I love about Jack is as hardened as your heart was. And now he's like a big teddy bear, you know. I wouldn't want to mess with you, but but he's like a big teddy bear. So you know, but Jack, I want to thank you for coming. And there again, we see miracles happen all the time around here, and it's not always, you know, the first time. Sometimes it's, but you never look back. That's one thing I love about you. You came and you just like not look back, and that's amazing, because it doesn't always happen that way, you know. And I'm proud of you, and I believe God's got great things in store for you.
My best friend now, and I get to see my son for the first time in 3 years Saturday.
Yeah, you're taking your son to an event, and you've been reconciled with your mom. Yeah. So that's the kind of things that happen, you know, around here on a regular basis. And so if you're out there and you're wondering more about Hannah's House, you can go to the website. We have a Hannah's House website. It's called hannahshouseks.com. All one word, lowercase. hannahshouseks.com. And if you just happen to be out there and you see this, you know, one of the things we need prayer, but we also need financial support, and you know, and this is good ground, isn't it, Jack? And you know, and every penny that comes in goes to help somebody like what Jack's been through. We don't charge anything for them to come, because most of them don't have anything to pay, and so we need all the help we can get. And if you're out there and you're looking for some place to sow, some place to be a blessing, Hannah's House is really good ground, and we'd love to have you come on board as a partner, and certainly pray for us and pray those empty beds get filled. And if there's women out there, you know, that are battling drug addiction, tell them to give us a call, and we might have a bed for them, you know, and they've got to fill out an application and go through the process, and we'd love to hear from you. So, but thank you, Jack, you know, and yeah, and that's a cool thing too. He's a faithful tither, giver. He just you want to give back to God, and it's just a beautiful thing, and we see that happen over and over and over again around here. So we want to thank you for tuning in, and hope this was a blessing to you. Thank you, Jack, and we'll be back later on with another exciting testimony.